What is good, everybody? It's Joaquin Sanchez here, and since YouTube wants to name every one of my videos as copyright, the best thing I'm going to do is just voiceovers, and we're gonna get a little insight of what's in my head, what's going on, and I'm gonna make a little bit of jokes here and there because sometimes you gotta laugh about this stuff. So here I am doing 135s, doing them 10 times. But, in the moment, I felt my elbow hit the little bars that said legend on it. I could feel my elbow hitting it, or something felt off to me, so I kind of had to just change things. But now you see my hat's falling off, my $32 hat. Boom. And then, I just had to go back and change it. Here I am again, second time. Make sure my hat stays on, and I'm not gonna lie to you guys. It was in the morning. I went to the gym in the morning. I usually don't go to the gym in the morning. I'm not a morning person, but I did this time since I hadn't gone to the gym 2 days before, so I went in the morning. And as you can see by my shirt, I'm wearing TLU soccer because we got to support my school. There was a game today, or not today, it was Friday, and I had to commentate that game. And I just wanted to get a good workout in before I go to my classes, and then I go to the game. And there we go, finishing the bench press, and now we're moving on. Now again, I wanted to start off working on my chest, doing everything for my chest, and then I was going to go on to work on my rear delts and then my triceps, but here I am changing the weight. And then the double chin. No. Double chin made an appearance. It's going to be making a couple guest appearances in this video, so stay tuned. As I'm doing this weight. Oh no, why did I make that face? Why did I make this face? But anyways, as I'm doing this workout, I'm trying to keep everything controlled, going forward, going back, and I'm not trying to let the weight drop. And now here I am, just contemplating on life, just thinking, what is the purpose? But then I snap back, and I go back to my workout. Here I am again, controlling it forward, controlling it back, and there's the double chin. There's the double chin. No matter how much weight I lose, I never lose it. But it is what it is. Dang, why does it look like I'm going to cry? I probably was crying just a little bit there. I don't know why. I think when you're working out in the morning, you're a little bit more tired. I don't know. For people, it's like you work out at night and you're tired from like the whole day. But for me, it's like I'm not tired at night. I feel more energized at night because I'm doing classwork and my brain's like half asleep, kind of. And then my body's not really going through vigorous motion, so it's like I'm good to do it at night, or at least in the afternoon, but I can't do it in the morning. It's like my body's super tired, and I can't do it. I felt weaker. That's what I did. I felt weaker in the morning. I felt weaker that morning than I did any other time I worked out. I don't know. That's just me. I'm weird. And that's a good job right there. Now we're going to incline bench press. And then that day was like the perfect day to film because nobody was there. No one's there in the morning. Like at my school, everyone wants to sleep in. No one wants to go out, and they just want to stay in their bed. But I feel like that's every college student. But it's like it wasn't even that early. It was like, I'm not gonna lie, it was like 9 or 10. 9 or 10, yeah. So everyone should have already been awake, but some people didn't want to, so it was like the perfect time to record, and nobody to come and be like, hey, get the camera off of me. Anyways, here I am trying to, my shoulders were, feeling a little bit of pain. I noticed that when you pull your shoulders up backward, like, if you flare them out more, your shoulders are going to feel a lot of pain, especially with, bench press or incline bench press, because, I don't know, it's kind of like a shrug and you're keeping your shoulders tight, but then it's good to have it like a good in between not too flared out, but then flared out just enough, like I have it right here, and I'm still working on the upper chest doing this, getting that good stretch, because it's not too low, because if it's less flared out, then I'm going to just be working on my triceps, and I'm not trying to work on my triceps. I'm trying to work on my chest. So, here I'm again, feeling the hunger. I don't eat breakfast, guys. Well, okay. I try to eat breakfast. I try to. It's the most important meal of the day. But, I don't go eat breakfast because I have an 8 a.m. class, and then I go to that first. And then, I didn't have an 8 a.m. that day. I only had one class, but, I just didn't feel like eating breakfast. I felt fat, so I didn't eat anything. But, so that's why, but, I felt hungry there. I felt like, oh my gosh, like I was dying, I was hungry. Like I wanted like a big American breakfast, but, I had to go to the gym first. Dang. Couldn't get that last rep. It's okay though. We move on. We move forward. Now here, I'm going to be working on our rear delts. If someone's watching this and you think I'm doing it wrong, let me know. Because, I still feel it working, but if I'm doing it wrong, put it in the comments. If you know me, send me a message or something, send me a DM or whatever, and let me know if I'm doing it wrong. But, it works for me, it shows that my delts are getting bigger, my rear delts are getting bigger, so, I really have there's no reason to think I'm doing it wrong. At least in my eyes, but if you guys think I am, let me know. Let me know. So here I am here, just chilling. And then my ADHD, maybe I have ADHD, but my ADHD self over here looking at my calluses, kind of picking at them a little bit, taking forever, getting distracted, but then I lock in. I'm like, nah, what am I doing? Lock in. So I go back to my workout. It's crazy how life gives you lemons and then you can make lemonade. That's some crazy advice. Anyways, let's go back to the workout. So now we're doing cable pull downs. You have to do, like, if you want bigger arms, people think you have to work on bicep. You know, the biceps will make me look big. But you got to work on your shoulders and your triceps, both heads of the triceps, you know, because I don't even do bicep workouts, and my arms already look bigger than they used to, because I used to just, you know, I used to always be like, yo, I'm going to work on my bicep, and then I used to do push-ups, but not as much. But, you know, my arms weren't that big. But now that I started working on my triceps a lot more, and, you know, not, I guess, a little bit of biceps, but I've been working more on my triceps, my arms have been getting a lot more bigger, and I've felt a lot more stronger, you know. And if it's working, it's working. And then my shoulders make a, you know, big deal about arm size. So definitely focus on those two if you're thinking about working on your arms. You know, it's crazy. Here's a little story time. So my nephew watches my videos. He's like 7, 8 years old, and he watches my workout videos. And then my mom was visiting my cousin, and then my nephew was there watching my videos. And then she showed my mom. He showed my mom. And then my cousin was like, "Oh wow, he looks big. Like what?" And then my mom's like, "Yeah, he's been working out a lot." And then my cousin told my mom, "Well, is he taking anything? Like, is he taking any steroids?" And then my mom was like, "No, I don't think so." Next thing you know, my mom looks at the video again, and she starts thinking, maybe he is. And then I get a text, and it's my mom, and she asked me, "Hi, mijo, are you taking anything?" And I'm like, "Taking what?" And then she's like, "Are you taking steroids?" Right then and there, I thought it was wild, because never one, actually, that's not true. When I was a kid, I was bigger than others, so they thought I was taking steroids. But never would I have thought my own mother would accuse me of using steroids. You know, because I went from 165 to 180. I went from 165 to 186 in like less than a little bit, like a month and a half, let's just say, but a little bit less. But it's a huge transformation. And you know, I do have a secret. Something that I do use. I gotta confess, guys, I do use something. It's called hard work, nutrition, water, maybe a little bit of creatine and collagen, but you know, that's not, you know, that's natural stuff, kind of. But you know, it was crazy though to have my mom accuse me of using steroids, and you know, but I understand, because now I'm looking at myself and I'm thinking, I don't even recognize myself. Like, I look at myself in the mirror and I'm like, well, I'm not that big, you know, I'm still the same skinny kid I've always been. But then I look at these videos and I'm like, this isn't me. This can't be me. Like, this is crazy body dysmorphia, because I don't feel how people other see me, you know. I got people from like last year telling me, "Dang, bro, you got bigger. You've bulked up." And I'm like, yeah, but like, because I went from 165 or 160 something to, you know, 20 more pounds. But you know, I didn't believe it, because I looked at myself and I still thought I was small. And so, you know, it's just crazy to see, you know, how much can happen when you put in the hard work and you take in the nutrition. And you take in, you know, you eat the things you're supposed to, and you have, you know, a strict schedule. Even then, you got to balance it with life, and that's what I do. So I feel weak if I don't work out. That's why that day, Friday, I felt so weak, because I hadn't worked out in like 2 days, because I was just super busy and couldn't find the time. But you know, like, you know, I'm looking at myself and I'm thinking I'm doing the things right, and I still look good. I still look big, and you know, I'm happy. Well, not a little bit, because you know, I still want to get bigger. I still look at myself and think I'm skinny, but That's just body dysmorphia. But I'm still gonna work hard and keep doing the things that I'm doing. Anyways, if y'all made it this far into the gym vlog, please like, subscribe, comment down below. You know, if you already follow me, you know, ask other people. You know, if you have friends that just look for good content, good gym content, you know, I'm not like a lot of these other guys. You know, you know, don't get me wrong. I love the other content. I love other, you know, the content that the other gym creators make, but you know, it doesn't feel real. Or at least, you know, I want to do something to show people like normal people can't, you know, we can do it too. You know what I mean? Like we don't, you know, people that don't come from money, people that don't come from like great beginnings. And I'm not saying all of these creators do. Like all these creators, I mean, like you got a bunch of creators that are, you know, humble and great. They've worked hard for everything. But it's like I want to show people, like, you know, by showing my journey, I want to show others that they can also do it. Like they can be who they want to be by working hard. And if you know anybody else that wants to be inspired and wants to see a good example, you know, share my videos. And then if they want to reach out and have a conversation, or if any of y'all would like, you know, to have a conversation or talk about, you know, working out, or if y'all want to go to the gym together or something, you know, hit me up on Instagram or TikTok. Socials will be down in the description. But, you know, here I am now doing pull-ups. My favorite workout. You know, I love doing pull-ups. I always loved it. I always had a great upper body, and they called me, I was like, I climbed trees when I was little, so my upper body was always good. And I love rock climbing. But yeah, that's the end of the workout. Thank y'all for watching, and have a nice day.